there is that you're expressing the opinion that people are motivated purely by money, and that if there wasn't a money motivation, that no one or nothing would get done. Now, I disagree with that personally. I think that people work for different reasons. But what I did say right at the top of the show is that we would maximise automation and available technology. So basically, I would be saying, how do we design a car factory where there's so few humans needed to be working? And what we would then do is that those tasks would be spread around a number of people rather than one person working 60 hours a week whose wife doesn't, and children who don't know who he is, etc. So what I'm trying to say is that we need to be looking at available technology. At the moment, technology, when it's introduced, is used to replace people, and that causes fear.
But there would be some of that as well, wouldn't there? There would still be, you know, automation and perhaps the less pleasant jobs. And I know that's true. There are people who like to do, I mean, you can probably find people who like to do every job.
Yes.
But there are probably fewer people who want to work in the sewers than who want to, say, be artists or rock stars or...
Maybe, but the fact is that if we automate as much as we can do, the chances are we'll still have enough people to volunteer for that kind of work. You know, for argument's sake, I use the example in the book rather frivolously that there are intelligent, emotionally balanced people who spend 7 years studying medicine and then choose to specialise in the workings of the bottom, so which I personally would have no interest in. So my point is that human diversity, I believe, will take care of all of those little tasks that I personally wouldn't want to do, but there are things that I want to do that other people wouldn't want to touch either.
Well, it is very idealistic, isn't it, I think?
It's idealistic, but at the same time, in order to make an improvement to the world, you have to have an idea, you have to have something to shoot for. And what I'm trying to do here is that I'm trying to bring the message out to people that there is actually a choice. We don't actually have to live this way. And we're living through a recession. We're also having a situation where our MPs are helping themselves, and despite the fact that the people they're supposed to be representing are hurting. And I'm saying that actually, no, we don't have to live this way. There is another way. And if enough people come together and work out the details, we can make a smooth transition. And that's the point I'm trying to make.
So, okay, but it's still idealistic. It's still kind of, you know, how do you get people to buy into it? Just telling them that everything will be free?
No, I mean, you're talking about idealism as if it's an automatic bar. Only, again, going back through history, it's not that long ago when it would have been considered idealistic for a woman to own property. You know, my point is that society changes all the time, and my point is that people need to have a different approach so that we manage the direction in which society goes rather than our leaders.
Duane, we're going to go for our second break now. Once again, if you'd like to text in your questions, even though I'm not sure it's working, please do so anyway. Text 87778 with the word EDGE, your name, location, and then your text. See you very soon. Welcome back to On the Edge with me, Theo Chalmers, and my special guest, Duane Mullin. I'm just going to read a bit of text out of your book. It's quite a famous quote from Thomas Jefferson, former President of the United States. He said, "I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. If the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their currency, first by inflation, the banks and corporations that will grow up around the banks will deprive the people of all property until their children wake up homeless on the continent their fathers conquered." And that's what's happened, isn't it?
It's happening, and in fact, it's a logic of money that when you take a loan in order to live somewhere for a home, you then are absolutely desperate that you don't lose your employment during the course of that mortgage life, so that's 25 years, typically. So for the next 25 years, you have to subjugate your conscience, your humanity to earn money to pay for that property.
So you have to swallow your principles,
Yes.
effectively, or to
Yes.
some extent.
Yes, and
Yeah, it is clearly wrong in a sense, isn't it?
well, yes. So what happens then, of course, is that people can't afford to live by their principles, to live by their consciences, and because they can't afford to live by their consciences, some of us end up in the army, some of us end up building bombs, some of us end up doing things that hurt the planet, that hurt people, and because of this, we end up with environmental damage, all sorts of issues.
It's you know, I was thinking in the break actually that if you were to say put a large group of people, say the population of the planet, on a spaceship and organise the spaceship in a way, say the spaceship was on a mission to go to another planet,
Yes.
then it's unlikely that the spaceship would be organised in the way that this planet is organised, and effectively it is a spaceship, isn't it, going through space?
Yes.
With money, you'd probably say, well, this is where you get your food in the cafeteria, this is where you get given a job.
Yep. Tasks are allocated. This is one of the things that I make in the point. Making the book, is that we're actually the way we allocate resources is actually quite primitive. It hasn't changed for thousands of years. The technology has changed. The institutions, the way we manage our money, that sort of thing has changed. But the core principle has not changed in all that time. It's actually very primitive, and it's hurting people. I find it amazing that you can go to countries where people struggle to find food, yet there's plenty of guns.